Pickacard, strange things people gossip about you. Here are your options, and I'll see what you're reading.
Hi friends, my name is Crystal with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, you chose this lovely image on the right hand side of the screen, and your downloads go as follows. What strange things are people talking about when it comes to you? So this could be gossip, positive, negative. It doesn't make a difference. It's just what they seem to focus on that you are going to find a little bit strange or at least surprising. Pile number 1, the only thing that I immediately channeled was Tesky Whiskey by the Tesky Brothers. Tennessee Whiskey by the Tesky Brothers, sorry. And it basically talks about somebody who loves to go to bars and loves the kind of nightlife, that kind of a thing. Nothing wrong within that in itself. But then it talks about how they get a high just being around you, how they find your love or your presence or something about you incredibly addicting. And so I thought that was really interesting because it feels to me like somebody is reminiscing over good times. Yeah. So this song is about how you're a drug and nothing compares to how they feel when they're with you. And they'd rather be hooked on you than hooked on anything else, you know, like the nightlife or going out to drink and things like that. So it could be that maybe perhaps that's how you met this person, or you had a past and people are talking about that. Okay. But for some reason, this is coming up in the conversation. So if this is you, or if this sounds interesting, we are going to get a little bit more information for you during the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you are new here, I hope that you find something that's helpful, hopeful, at the very least, something that's amusing. And for those of you that are indeed repeat offenders, thank you guys so much for your support. I am super grateful. You guys make me laugh, and I appreciate just fostering a warm and hopefully welcoming environment. Pile number 1, what strange things are people gossiping or talking about you specifically? You have the beautiful minded with Libra. You have the 5th house with joy and play. And you have conjunction, junction. What's your function? Fusion and energy. Okay. So right off the bat, what's catching my eye right here is the 5th house with joy and play. And I feel like even though these are in the middle, intuitively, I did that. I feel like these are going to be central to your reading. It's not always like that, by the way. But something about your 5th house with joy and play. So we want to know a little bit more. The King of Pentacles. Okay. So pile number 1, I feel like people want to talk about how you are maybe set in your ways. I mean, look at how he has his foot presumably on a head right here of an animal or a mask. Interesting. But this person, well, it could be a bull, right? Because a lot of Taurus energy pulling through. But regardless, I'm going to say that people like to talk about your money, your finances, and how you are like big boss energy. Okay, that's one thing that I'm getting for sure. I'm not really liking the way this person has his foot on top of that mask or whatever this is, but we're going to get more into that. But it seems like for the most part, you're very earthy, but this could be talking about also that maybe people are talking about how you stepped on heads to get to where you're at. Now, before you come at me, I'm just talking about, you'd be surprised at what people say behind your back, right? As we all do, get surprised occasionally. So that's why it's called strange. It would be a little bit strange. We're going to get more information about that in just one moment. Pile number 1, you have my hope of your return are diminishing. So somebody's definitely in your fields. Could be in your energy fields. Somebody's definitely in their fields over you that could be doing some crying, some sadness. But why is this connected to like your money and finances and like how you have fun? It could appear that you have maybe somebody who's thinking that you have like this really rich life, or maybe you're taking trips, or maybe you're going on these like adventures, whether it's solo or with other people. It doesn't make a difference. I feel like you have somebody like reminiscing or wanting to be in your energy because they want to be a part of this. They want to be a part of, your joy and play, whatever that means. Now, I just happened to glance up and I looked at this image right here. And I'm going to say that with that, this feels like puppeteering, puppet master, that kind of a thing. You might have a message in pile number 2 as well. Not necessarily, but if you feel led, like if you were deciding in between the two, you might have messages in both piles. So do what feels natural to you, of course. Pile number 1, what strange things are people gossiping when it comes to you? What do they gossip about that you would find weird? I'm ready for you. So I'm going to say that pile number 1, you could have, and I know all the exes live in Texas and stuff like that, but it could be talking about how maybe you are on the brink of finding love or renewing your love, renewing your vows. But this can indicate somebody that maybe was an energy vampire as well. Doesn't have to be romantic. But the fact that I'm ready for you, for a lot of you guys, does allude to somebody wanting to come towards you in a romantic way. Now, we're going to find out a little bit more about that. But yeah, why would they be talking about that? Like, if somebody has an interest you or whatever, unless this person is like bringing it up and they're like, "Ooh, I'm ready for you." Okay, so now everybody's all up in their head about it. Okay, up in their head about this person approaching you. Why would that be important, or why would that be like some saucy gossip? I don't know just yet. Pile number 1, you have the 5 of Cups. Well, hello, you have the 5 of Cups. Let's get in there. Yeah, so somebody is really mourning the good old times that they had with you. They are definitely mourning the times when it was like, let's eat, drink, and be merry. It could have been something that maybe perhaps you guys, they want to like bridge a gap with you, and part of that bridge is missing. They don't know how to even navigate that bridge. And it's interesting how in this card, the frame, there's like bleed through. This is a bleed out margin. I think that's what it's called. And the image is flowing into the whole card. I think they're all going to be like that. I've never used this before. But with the number 5, it's echoing the 5th house, joy and play. Yeah, so they're missing the good old times with you, the times that you would hang out and have fun. They don't know how to mitigate that, how to bridge this gap. There's a lot of emotion right here. And I'm also hearing water under the bridge. So it could have been a situation that you left behind, or they left you. Or regardless of how it happened, this person is in deep regret. And people want to talk about that. They want to talk about like, what happened? Because it seemed like y'all were getting along so well. Or, that was like your, I heard broho. It could have been, somebody that was like your drinking buddy, your party buddy, that kind of a thing. It doesn't have to be, once again, romantic, but they're missing those times. Pile number 1, judgment. Yeah. So I feel like you definitely formed a judgment. And look at all these ghosts from Christmas past coming to say hello, Moto. I don't know about that. But I'm just going to say maybe this can have to do with like somebody held a seance, or somebody thinks that you do seances, things like that. But I definitely feel like you have a divine angel, especially with the Libra. These two like feel so very together, like they fit together. And what I feel like, intuitively what I'm getting a download on, and I just felt this warm brush of energy course through me, is that you made a judgment, that you decided this life isn't good, this energy isn't good for me, that kind of a thing. It wasn't really helping you to elevate. Not that we're looking to step on heads, which is, by the way, the gossip, but that it didn't help you elevate in any way. It seemed like you were trying to pull people up to where you were at, and they just couldn't get out of their own way. So I feel, pile number 1, that you got out of their way in order for them to navigate their own journey so that you yourself can progress. Okay. Now let's not forget with the Two of Cups, the Five of Cups, you have the two behind you. And that's talking about all the beautiful things that you have, like partnerships in the future, or even things that you currently have, but you're not focused on. Okay. And so I think that's worth a mention. People could be talking about how you're not even looking at the Two of Cups right now. You're not looking at people that are around you that want to be close to you or that you have a close kinship with, because you or they are so focused on the times that are long gone. Okay. Pile number one. That's so cool that this card came out. The Emperor. Yeah. And so I'm feeling like this is a little bit of a similar scenery right here, but it seems to me like you've managed to bridge that gap in whatever handicap, quote unquote, that you have or had. I feel like you've left that behind. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical one, although it can be physical one. And by leaving it behind, I'm just going to say that the handicap I'm talking about is metaphoric. It could be a physical thing. It could be mental, emotional, whatever it is to you. Keep in mind, I'm optimistically reading for the masses, always optimism, right? But I'm going to say that even if you have some physical ailment that prevents you from, maybe in your wheelchair or something like that, I'm just going to say that this has to do with really owning yourself, owning your ish. It makes me think of that Victoria, the one, she was, I think, a model, but she's like a singer, and she's riveting. Moderna, Victoria M, something like that, where she has actually just one leg, and then she uses these like wild super spikes to do her performances. And I can't even look it up right now because I'll be mesmerized and like looking through all her videos. But if I remember, I'll tag that as well in your reading. So pile number one with this apple right here, I definitely feel like you are the one now deciding. It's like, oh, look, an apple. Remember what happened to Snow White and the apple, how she was given the apple by the wicked witch that wound up being this, is it the mother or stepmother? I thought it was stepmom, but I'm not sure. And now you have a hold of that apple and you're like, hey, remember this? Remember that? So I feel like you have navigated far and wide, and that things could maybe possibly not be super clear, but strange things that people are talking about you is how you've overcome all the obstacles, all the, quote, disabilities that really would have crippled other people, that would have incapacitated people. This makes me also think about the dad that runs the marathons with the son that is wheelchair bound. I'm sure there's a lot of those stories out there, actually. I'm just thinking about one in particular, but how he pushes a wheelchair and he just runs, and his son gets to experience wind in his face, and it's a bonding time, and it's beautiful. It's an incredibly powerful story, an incredibly powerful legacy. And I feel like that would be you. That is your energy currently. And that's what people are talking about. It's like, nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. That's what I'm getting. And you're deeply very grounded. You're not like airy, like, let me just dream about things. Let me pretend, let me think, let me just fantasize my way through life and stuff. Let me, endorse escapism. I feel like that's definitely not your energy, but that you are definitely a doer, that you make the impossible appear possible. Why? Because you've managed to achieve it yourself. Yeah. So let's see what else we have right here. We have the King of Swords. Some of you guys are into ecstatic dancing. Some of you guys are into breath work and energy work and Reiki. Some of you guys are really feeling your own skin, because I'm kind of feeling that right now. And you're taking full ownership no matter what your body shape or form or whatever that looks like. I feel like you're really appreciating the skin that you're in. I feel like that's very, very important regardless, because especially in the US, I'm guessing other countries as well, but we really kind of breed a lot of like self-hate. And I think that, this is unhealthy. In order to transform anyways, we have to have a healthy amount of self-esteem, a healthy amount of, okay, I'm worth it. This is worth it. And therefore I'm going to do things about it, or I'm going to enjoy where I'm at, and I'm going to proceed slowly, or whatever your narrative is, right? And I feel like the strange thing that people talk about when it comes to you is how intelligent you are, how transformative you are, how it is that you could really make things out of nothing. I'm looking at these, and I heard in the background, árboles. So maybe you guys could be Latino or you speak a different language, but you are definitely royalty personality, the way that you carry yourself. I heard pile number one, your ish don't stink, right? So I feel like you could have some haters out there. So yeah, it's whatever. It's whatever. So one last card for you. Pile number one, what strange things are people talking about when it comes to you? What do they like to talk about? What's the chat? Huh? Yep. Look, your transformation. We have the death card. So how you powerfully transformed, how they don't even know. The door behind you is green. So that door is a door to abundance, a door to opportunity, and it's incredibly transformative. I feel like the strange things that people talk about when it comes to you is how you have this ability to change, to evolve. It's almost like you have like sonic hearing. You know how bats click and they bounce that sound off of like walls and trees and whatever, and they can navigate and they know how to go into the cave and not like knock themselves out silly and stuff like that. But something very witchy about you as well. You could be very protective, self-protective as well during this transformational time. And I'm going to say that you're not really asking for advice, nor are you asking for permission. Yeah, this transformation is incredibly powerful. It's very beautiful. People are definitely all up in the biz talking about how you've changed. Hey, have you seen pile number one? They're on this fitness journey. Have you seen pile number one? What are they doing now? I don't understand. How is it that they pop up and they're 10 times better and then they disappear and they pop up again? And it's like, it's almost like pile number one, you're almost not human. And I feel like that's, you know, the gossip, how weird people would talk about that. But one thing that they're not addressing is all the work that you've put into things. It may seem like all fun and games, but I feel like you put a lot of work into yourself, a lot of work into transforming, a lot of work in preserving, and a lot of work in evolving and trying to figure out where it is that the next step is going to go. But you're not communicating this. I mean, even your hands are like hidden right here. Person has like maybe gloves or, yeah, looks like gloves to me. So that's what I have. Let me know what is going on in your life. I'm very interested. If you feel like you can share, if not, that's fine. No worries. Much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number two is strange things that people talk about when it comes to you. And honestly, I don't know exactly what the title is going to be because that one's just tingly, but it's something that was on my brain and it came through when I looked at the images chosen for the reading. So we're going to go with it and we're going to trust. We are in a deep trustful pile number two, which is quite interesting. So the channel messages that I got is how you had a puppeteer and they controlled you or something regarding you. Now, keep in mind that these messages are optimistically for the masses, right? So not everything is going to pertain, but also these are from other points of view. So it could definitely not be on the money, but this is what people are saying if you chose this pile. So anyways, how they control you or something controlled you. And let's be clear, we can all fall into the trap of manipulation, right? Or even people-pleasing tendencies, which I felt like was really big in this pile as well, which I'm raising my hand. I'm at fault too. I do that too, or have done that too. I'm a recovering people pleaser. How about that? So people like to talk about how you have regained self-sovereignty, and it is on full display, and all the players got to stay the hell away from you. People love to talk about how you're volatile, unpredictable, and how you have gone rogue. But the truth is that you got fed up with being a puppet, even if it was you trying to be what other people wanted or expected out of you. Pile number two, you're in your villain era. And of course, I left out the one here. You're in your villain era. So very nice to meet you. If this is you, or if this sounds like you, or if it sounds interesting, then let's get more, let's get a little bit more information during the shuffle in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, welcome. If you're new to my channel, I hope that you find something that's helpful, hopeful, or at the very least, something that's amusing. And for those of you guys that are repeat offenders, I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you guys so much. Pile number 2, strange things that people gossip when it comes to you. I actually shot this morning and realized halfway through that no dice, my phone died. So we're going to try it again. So if things look different, if the vibe is different, well, it is. So pile number 2, strange things people gossip about you. You have communication and interaction. You have the World Explorer with Sagittarius. And you have Pisces with the Dreamer. Now, right off the bat, what I'm noticing right here is the bow and arrow. Well, yep, it's nighttime and the lighting here is not the best, but I'm just going to say that people love to gossip or talk about the direction that you're taking in life. With Sagittarius, they are known for being incredibly independent explorers. They don't want to be roped down. At least that's my understanding. And a lot of times people can really misunderstand what it is that they're headed, because it always seems to be like an adventure, right? Let me go on this adventure. And so the strange thing that people gossip about you or focus on you when they're talking to other people is definitely where you're headed, how you're navigating your own life. I feel like this is more than just a trip or two here and there. This has more to do with how you're navigating your life in general. I feel like there could be something that's very perplexing or unusual about the way that you earn your living or the way that you lead your current lifestyle. So for example, some of you guys might be in a poly community and that might work for you. And other people go, well, I don't really understand how that's supposed to work, but really it's for you to understand and not for everybody else. So at least that's my 2 cents. Anyways, so that would be one example. Now, if you feast your eyes on this lovely card with the communication and interaction, I feel like they would be gossiping and talking about, you know how pile number 2 is always just like Zen, or when they talk to you, they talk so differently. They're talking about the direction in life, their soul's direction, what is calling them on a soul level. And it appears very confusing because I feel like you might have an audience that is a little bit superficial. Let's just call it for what it is. And when I say an audience, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a platform. When I talk audience, I just mean anybody in general who is privy to your conversation or, privy to any kind of interaction with you. Now, the focus is definitely on the lips right here. What exactly are you saying? This could be via internet. This could be dialogue. You could be a voice actor. You could be somebody who works in some kind of like audio visual type of a thing. Not necessarily, but you could be. So pile number 2, you have the 4 of Pentacles. Okay. Wow. This is intense because I feel like with these two pulled together, pile number 2, the strange things that people love to gossip about you really is your communication style, but also what you keep to yourself. Also, why do you hold on to things? Why is it that you don't really just open up and spill the beans, right? Now, to me, this is very strange because it's almost like people are expecting you just to kind of like expose everything that you're feeling or thinking. There is a big building right behind. So this could have to do with your resources, but I feel like for you more than anything, your dialogue that is withheld or that you withhold back would be your energy, your feelings, your emotions, basically. So I feel like you hold those under tight regard. And I think the reason for that is maybe once upon a time, you could have been a little hot-headed, not like me. I'm just saying. But maybe perhaps, you know, the school of life or whatever reason, you know, people view you as withholding emotion, or they don't understand where you're coming from. It's like, do they like me? I don't know. Do they want to talk to me? I don't know. How come they don't trust in me anymore or more than they do currently? You know, it's almost like an air of expectation. So pile number 2, what is this? Camera. Go gadget camera. So you have the King of Wands right here. And with the King of Wands, so people are really gossiping about the type of business that you have. So King of Wands is somebody who has multiple businesses, different sources of income, potentially. This is somebody who has a very diverse portfolio. This is somebody who, with all the yellow, I feel like there's a lot of talk about your passion, your solar plexus, if you will, okay? The reason why you get up in the morning, your confidence level as well. And look at that. I mean, you have the lion echoing it back here. So, of course, Libra, Aries, Libra, Sag, any of those could be, why did I say Libra? Leo. I meant Leo, but maybe Libra. So I'm just going to say that, yeah, you have people like really curious because you're not really speaking on what it is that you're creating or your business. If you have any business dealings, you are keeping those things tight-lipped into yourself. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you really don't owe anybody an explanation. I'm not really sure why people are trying to get into like your feelings about things, but very curious. What else do we have? Spiritual marriage. Okay. Wow. So strange things that people gossip when it comes to you. I feel like they talk about your spiritual union. So if anybody knew you and you're really close to somebody once upon a time or close to multiple people, I feel like they would like to talk about these things. And also because it's like these people want to know, they want to snoop. What lies behind that is, by the way, power. So they feel empowered. They feel like, ooh, well, if you want to know about pile number 2, come to me because I know a little bit about history. I know about their spiritual marriage or their spiritual connections or who they were or are romantically inclined to lean towards. And I actually heard the word hookup. So maybe they want to talk about who you hook up with and who you don't. Now, pile number 2, it's no wonder that you keep your mouth shut. You know, for the most part, I feel like when you do communicate, it's methodical, it's precise, concise. It could be a little bit fiery, very direct, and you're just focused. You're not playing with anybody. So let's see what else we have right here. Judgment, yeah. This card came out in pile number 1 as well. So if you're torn between the two, maybe perhaps you might want to look at both, but nonetheless, I'm starting to see this right here, even though it's like the 10-10, you know, I feel like this could have been 2 endings, 2 massive endings. This could be 2 different people that love to really talk about strange things when it comes to you. And it's like, well, I knew pile number 2 when they would do seances, or we would sit around and do seances, or we would play with the Ouija board, or we would do tarot, or we would, whatever the thing is, right? So pile number 2, I know for a long time, I've always had like weird hobbies, big surprise, right? And I feel like this would include things like, well, I know pile number 2 was kind of obsessed with handwriting analysis or art. I don't even know. I would even kind of break down art and get to the deep psychology behind it. At least that's my interpretation. You know, other people could have thought it was full of nonsense. Who knows and who cares? But I'm just going to say that anything that your hands touched that was like, ooh, it's saucy, other people really want to decode. But they also want to present it to people that don't really know anything about you, that are curious, because they feel a sense of power. They feel a sense of power over you. Now, I want to add right here, with this angel right here in the Judgment card, I definitely see where you called in, I want to say that you called in balance. You called in, it's not rulership. You called in judgment. Duh, it's right on the card, Marcel. But you called in judgment. And I feel like with this judgment, you decided that, you know what, I'm going to handle things differently. I'm keeping my business to myself. My communication is going to be very controlled, very methodical. And if you F me, well, then guess what? I'm going to know, because that's how I planned it out. So you could be very strategic in your thinking. Also with whom you share anything with. Pile number 2. What? You've touched my soul in every shape and form. I'm just kidding. I felt like I was reading like a Harlequin romance novel there for a moment. Not that I would know. Yeah, I totally would have known. But yeah, this is something that people want to talk about, how like you have really touched them deep in their heart. And a really random story came to my mind. Once upon a time when I worked in Phoenix, optics, of course, I was dispensing a pair of glasses to my patient, and he had 2 missing fingers, or 3. I can't remember exactly how. And for whatever reason, we started talking, and he brought it up, and he, you know, he was a Latino, older gentleman, super, super nice, super sweet. They've always been so kind to me, honestly. I'm super grateful. But he was like, yeah, and he mentioned his fingers, and I said, oh, wow. And I don't know if I asked him or he just volunteered. He goes, yeah, one time I was just cutting this, that, and the other, and he cut his fingers off. And he was, you know, at the park working, and of course, he literally lost his fingers. Well, I have to, this is really hard to share. Sorry, I get emotional. But he shared with me, he shared with me that he still goes to the park to look for his fingers, and that all the people that were like his friends and the people that were working there would kind of laugh. They're like, oh, you know, because he was laughing. He's like, oh, ha, ha. And sometimes I still go to the park to look for my fingers, ha, ha. And that just stabbed me right in the heart. It hurt so bad. So anyways, I just feel like the lack of compassion around that man. And so we had a discussion, and I just told him, I don't even know why he got on this thing, but I told him, I'm like, there is, under no uncertain circumstances, those were not your friends. They were not your friends. They didn't care about you. Those were people that I had a few choice words. But bottom line, I just let him know that those feelings are, I validated his feelings. I'm like, yeah, I would probably go to the park and look for my fingers too. And by the way, I would want to go to the park and look for your fingers as well. I don't know. I just feel like it really moved me. And so we really bonded, and I know for a fact they got choked up, and it was really, I was really moved. And I feel like that encounter never left me. So in the same way, I feel like other people feel incredibly moved by any kindness that you may have extended, any hand that you may have said, hey, let me give you a hand up, or let me give you an ear so that you can listen, or let me listen to you and digest. Because sometimes I feel like other people listen to respond and not to just hear, not to listen, not to digest, and not to comprehend. Yeah, and it comes from ego. And so I feel like you're that person, but also that you've learned how to listen to yourself. That no longer are you putting other people's ideas and priorities above your own. If you want to be private, you're private. If you want to share, you'll share. And you don't have any need to really over-explain yourself any longer. And good for you. Round of applause. Moving on. Pile number 2, did not expect to get all emotional. Hey now. So we have the Pisces with the Dreamer card right here. Strange things that people gossip about you. The Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, people can really love you. And I mean, you're very grounded. You look at the mechanical rabbit right here. Check it out. Love the rabbit right here. But, you know, animals and people just love you. They gravitate towards you. There's a lot of, I don't want to say simplicity because that has a negative connotation, you know, and it's open to interpretation, but I just feel like you're very earthy. You don't need a lot. And pile number 2, I definitely feel like there could be something about you that kind of screams like high maintenance, or people have to jump through hoops in order to really satiate you or satisfy you or make the grade or even be on the list, that kind of a thing. And I feel like they've gotten it all wrong. I feel like there's nothing further from the truth. I definitely feel like you're incredibly like grounded, organic, and it's rhyme and reason. It's like, look, are you, you know, are you happy just sitting on this lawn with this chair, and it's kind of unusual, and I have a pet robotic bunny. Is that cool with you? And by the way, I have this beautiful plant growing behind me, and occasionally I like to trim them and make these like beautiful bouquets and sell them off, or, you know, I grew them specially for a bride or whatever the thing is. So I feel like you're very down to earth, and You just don't put up with BS. I feel like you can see through people, and you call judgment and quickly, and you're quick to end things for people that have false hearts or false narratives. And I feel like this perplexes a lot of people around you. They don't really understand because they're shallow. Sorry about that. But yeah, most people are shallow around you. So that's the reason why they get riveted on this one particular topic. Pile number 2, you have the Seven of Swords right here. Now look at his little smile, little smirk. And this is like one of my least favorite out of, you know, the whole tarot, the 5 and the 7 of Swords. But this guy's popping up. And I feel like strange things people want to gossip about you in particular is how you move almost like in the night. It's like one minute you're here and the next you moved to Pennsylvania, and you know, the next you packed up and you went on a cruise and it's 3 months long, or it's a year long and you're going to live, you know, from cruise to cruise or whatever. It's like you don't allow people to know your moves, and you take whatever it is that's yours. And you know, he's actually carrying the 5 swords and the 2 behind. So you allow people to kind of make up narratives, whatever it is that they have to do in their brain, as long as you're focused and pressing forward. And pile number 2, I feel like that gossip, you know, we're not, I guess I'm separating fact from fiction, but I just want to make it clear. I see somebody who is, you know, making moves on their own and not letting everybody know, because honestly things get watered down, they get salty. Evil eye for me is very real. So, and test it out yourself. Share something. Don't do it, but share something that you're about to do that you're really excited about with 1 or 2 people. And I don't know, it's been my experience that they crash and burn. At least that's happened to me. So be careful who you share your things with, because jealousy is real, and that can have an effect energetically on what comes towards you and what you can manifest and so on. But I feel like with the 2 swords, you allow people to kind of, you know, go into contemplation. And if they want to get an attitude and they want to be in separation, well, fine. But you, as for you, you're going to continue keeping it pushing. You're going to do whatever it takes to get to the destination that you need to go to, or wherever it is that you need to do, right? So if you feel like you need some self-protection, you're going to do self-protection, and you're going to take classes, and you're going to get schooled on it, and you're going to head towards it to a place of safety, or, you know, whatever part of your journey is your journey and yours only. And, you know, I mean, unless you're a minor, I feel like this trajectory is nobody's business. You know, of course, if you have a family that you're tied to and things like that, or somebody thinks you're family, that could be a whole different issue. But pile number 2, for the most part, I definitely feel like people want to go, they want to know about your travels, and they want to know about your emotions and how you make decisions as well. So let me know what you think. That is all I have for you. Please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe if this resonates. Until next time, namaste. Pile number 3. You chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen, and your downloads go as follows. Strange things that people notice about you. Well, that they want to gossip about. Strange things they want to gossip about you. Let's try that. You are hyper intelligent. Your eyes could be your main feature. They bore into my soul is actually what I heard. People get nervous around you. And you're definitely an empath. That nervous energy, by the way, pile number 3, isn't yours. I would look more into it if you have social anxiety, as I do. Take a moment to even try an exercise where you separate your energy from other people's and just do commanding energy. Like, I command any energy that isn't mine to disperse, to leave me. And see if you're still left with that nervousness. I definitely have a lot of social anxiety, and that helps me. Anyways, strange things that people want to talk about when it comes to you. They want to gossip about. How you see the world. Are you different? Are you unusual? I'll bet you are. How you can set the world on fire simply with your perspective, because it is so unique. But frankly, it is very to the point, and I think that this scares a lot of people. I also feel, pile number 3, that you could be somebody that perhaps can trigger the dark night of the soul in other people. I don't want to say an accidental awakening, a tower moment, that kind of a vibe. You could be a conspiracy theorist. People love you, but they want to be around you when you are focused on others, not when you're focused on them. In other words, you do make people nervous because of what you can see, because people understand that you can see right through them. And this is a source of great conversation, great speculation. Now, I'm also hearing, pile number 3, that people believe that you actually are a mind reader, that you're telepathic. So this could be, or simply this could be a point of conversation that people just have regarding you. So if this sounds like you, or if this topic sounds interesting, then stick around for the shuffle. We're going to get a little bit more information. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you're new to my channel, I hope that you find something that's helpful, hopeful, or at the very least, something that's amusing. And if you are indeed a repeat offender, you guys, I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you for your kindness, for your patience as well, for all of your comments, all the things. Pile number 3, strange things people gossip about you. Let's find out what you have. You have opposition. You have essence and personality. Whoa. You have Saturn. What? Wow. Even this card is like intense to me. I feel like I just get sucked right in there. So pile number 3, right off the bat, I'm just going to say that I had some friends that are also patients that actually, a shout out if you're watching, Michelle made this candle. It's a beautiful candle right behind. It's glow in the dark. And so Michelle and Carol both make lovely, lovely candles. I'm so grateful. And they brought me a whole bunch of this rosemary. I've never seen it bloom, or at least maybe not in a long time. It's so beautiful. I thought I would incorporate it on my side, but it wanted to be seen. So here she is. So thank you so much. Strange things that people gossip about you. They like to talk about tension and opposite, how they feel tension with you. They like to gossip about how they're not on the same page. And when they're not on the same page with you, how they feel that tension. It's almost like a tug of war, but you have a lot of gravitas. I'm going to say that simply because we have Saturn right here. That was the first card that really pulled me. And I'm going to say with all of this, like limits and lessons, and, you know, we know about Daddy Saturn will give us, you know, a spank if we don't straighten up and kind of do our due diligence and work hard. And this is rolling up your sleeve and not slacking off and things like that. And I feel like that energy can be very, very intimidating. And when you're in opposition, let's say just with people in your life in general, they feel this gravitas, this pull, this sunny personality pulls them. But then you have these limits and lessons to be learned as well. And so people, I feel like around you feel very conflicted, and they'd like to talk that conflict out with other people as well. They're like, man, you know, with pile number 3, what do you think about him, her, whatever? You know, how, because I just get mixed messages, or I don't really know what to think, or and they want to bounce things off of each other because they can't make heads or tails of it. The interesting part, pile number 3, is that they won't just walk up and ask you. Now, I feel like part of that is the intimidation factor. I feel like you're definitely intimidating here. So let's see what else we have for the 9 of Pentacles. What? Let us look. Yeah, with the 9 of Pentacles, this is almost like the pre-Empress phase. And this is, I want to say, having everything that you need. I feel like you're self-sufficient. You're not looking for a handout. You're not looking for someone to sustain you. You're not looking for a mate or somebody to really, you know, do that for you. You're just within your own energy, and it's very powerful. Very, very powerful. Even this looks like lavender, a little bit of an echo to the rosemary right here. Then we have the grapes, the abundance, and yeah, the light, of course, that was the image that you originally chose. So pile number 3, the falcon right here always talks about how this person, you, pile number 3, could have some really unusual, unconventional hobbies, and they could be very fascinating, very riveting. And sometimes, I mean, she looks like she could be a pilot, right? But she could also, she's a falconeer. She could also maybe perhaps garden, because we have all of this growth right here as well. I mean, there's a lot of skills going on here, and I feel like it's hard to pin one thing down to one skill that you can do. And I feel also that people love to, another strange thing that people love to gossip about is just how diverse you are, and how they didn't know that maybe you can hunt, maybe you are a hunter, maybe you preserve your own whatever, maybe you do canning, maybe you like to teach violin, or you like to lay pavement and you walk around, you know, you go around your neighborhood and help the elderly to really lay pavement, or do community charity work and things like that. So it seems like very in opposition to what people think about you. And when they dig deeper, it's like underneath, and I say underneath because it's easy to be overpowered and overwhelmed by the light and the luminescence of the sun. The luminosity, that's a better word for it. But I'm just going to say that, like, with your vibrancy, and maybe you could have like Leo characteristics, it's easy to be blinded by that. But I think that people innately encounter that Saturn with limits and lessons, and they're shocked by it, because they're like, wait a minute, we just thought you were kind of one way and not this other way. So you're very deep and very mysterious, I'm feeling, pile number 3. People love to talk about like your emotional nature as well. You and pile number 2, by the way. So I feel like they like to talk about how they can connect with you, body, heart, mind, and soul. And because of tension opposites with opposition right here, I feel like maybe some people want to talk about like, yeah, with body and mind, I connect, but then the heart and soul thing, not so much, and so on and so forth. But then they feel still pulled towards you, knowing that, you know, they're not going to really fire on all cylinders. Now, it is unclear to me if you expect everybody to fire on all cylinders, you know, to the same extent as you. But I think you get the point. And also with this dove, a piece, it talks a lot about, you know, strange things. It's like people are a little perplexed at how peaceful you can be, in spite of when it feels like this Saturn lesson, this Saturn right here is ready to teach people lessons. People feel like you're going to teach them a lesson, school them. But instead that you're really focused on your glow up and your grow up, and you're focused on you constantly evolving and changing and moving forward. And I feel like by default, people feel obliged. Okay, I need to glow up too. Okay, I need to put structure as well. So whatever it is, and I'm not saying that you're totally linear and totally structured and everything's nice and tidy and within its own box and things like that. It can be that way. Your mind could be that way. Your life could be that way. And that would be great. But I feel like this is just another strange thing that people notice, you know, and they just want to debate, they want to talk about it, and they want to gain different perspectives because they don't really have all the answers. Pile number 3, I'm coming for you. Rawr. Rawr. Just kidding. So, okay, she looks like she'd be all cried out, something like that going on. Let's see what this is. Oh, okay. Hi. You feed me in ways no one could. All right. So, yeah, I definitely feel like maybe there is a lusty, gusty energy about you as well. And maybe when people come around, they don't really quite comprehend, because it's almost like you are peaceful, or you feel very peaceful, but then they want to come at you with like a lot of I'm going to say actual energy. And they get confused by it, because maybe you refute it, or you kind of counter offer and you're like, yeah, I need to get to know somebody before I even go down that road with anybody. Or perhaps this has to do with an existing person, existing people in your life. Regardless, I feel like people set their sights on you, and you know how we all like gravitate around the sun, and we're like focused on the sun, and it's like, ooh, the sun is out today, we get to plant, we get to do this. Or, you know, if it's a cloudy day and you don't see it, we tend to get a little bit sad and things like that. I feel like people around you feel the same way. Now, in spite of people feeling, and they want to talk strange things that they want to talk about, is that they feel like they can't meet your standards or meet your needs or whatever. They still want to be in the rotation. They want to be in the vicinity. They want to be all like circling the sun, just like our solar system does. And it's just kind of interesting to me because they don't want out of the mix, but they feel like they can't quite be the mix. We're going to explore this more in just 1 second. Pile number 3. Strange things people notice about you or want to gossip about you but won't say. We have the King of Wands. This one popped up in pile number 2 as well. And so, yeah, this is about your businesses, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, the way that you rule. And it could be anything because honestly, in the end, we can only rule ourselves, right? And barely that. Thank you, society. But I'm just talking about like how we behave, how we think, how we react, who we choose to interact with and things like that. That's really what autonomy in the end is all about. The space in between your ears, what freedom you have to think with and so on and so forth. So I feel like people really want to debate this. They want to, I heard contest. So maybe they want to contest it. And maybe this is this notion, like I'm coming for you. Don't think that you escape, that kind of a thing. So you could have somebody who has it out for you. That kind of feels that way. It feels like 2 different energies, but let's see what else we have. And then the Page of Cups. So pile number 3, strange things that people notice about you, but won't say, or people that want to gossip about you. They want to talk about like any small offers that they've given you in the past. Like this has one little fish right here, but look at the overflow of abundance here. And this person is containing, their emotions. So there could be something about you containing your emotions as well. That came out in another pile that people really want to talk about. But even that you will only offer things once, that you're not about offering, a plethora of emotion or many hints. You're going to be like, oh, hey, I'll try this. But if it doesn't work, you're going to let it go and you're going to allow people to go their own merry way. You're not going to, do too much. Let's just say that. So let's bring that into focus here. We're going to get a little bit more information. I'm coming for you. Strange things people gossip about you. This is gonna be a hard title because I keep like changing the wording. Strange things people gossip about you. The Knight of, yeah, love offers. It has to do with love offers. Your love offers, other people's love offers. And also this reminds me like a wooden horse. And that, of course, reminds me of the story of like the Trojan horse and how they overcame the army, by gifting a Trojan horse. It was huge. And the whole army was inside the horse and they got behind the gates and waited for everybody to be slap happy and drunk and passed out before they overtook everything. Anyways, that's a horrible synopsis, but you get the idea right here. So this could indicate that perhaps in a lot of ways, strange things that people want to talk about is like they didn't even know that they would be attracted to you. And now they're attracted to you because you have that sun personality or something about you is drawing. But when they get to know you at a deeper level, this Saturn comes out with limits and lessons and that you're incredibly deep. And that could be very spooky because then it really encourages or it alludes to other people need to be deep or otherwise they're seen as shallow or perhaps, that's just kind of, I don't know, it's like you spar off of other people's energy and then they feel like they have to take it to the next level. And it can be intimidating. No lie. I mean, who doesn't want things kind of easier? But you're here to shake things up. And I think that people want to talk about that. And it's all about, I feel like giving you romance, giving you love, giving you, I don't know. I heard tenderness. What else? Look, 10 of Cups, happy wife, happy life, happy husband, happy life. Get closer, darlings. Yeah. Strange things people want to talk about when it comes to you. They want to talk about your family. They want to talk about maybe you have a matriarch in the family. Maybe you have a patriarch in the family. But somebody that really kind of upholds everything and sees to it that everybody else winds up being happy with their lot. They distribute fairly. At least that's the discussion. And they make sure that other people in their family are taken care of emotionally. Now, I'm going to address this really quick, not to be a trigger, but I definitely feel like this can even allude to a lot of people having like dysfunctional families and things like that, where you were not able to express your own emotions, your own feelings and things like that. And maybe perhaps people were not aware of this. I feel like that is a topic of conversation. Okay. You could have had somebody who decided that they were the ruler and that there's no space to hear you out, that your desires were not welcome. And everything that you kind of put up a red flag about, you're like, hey, I'm not okay with this. It was refuted. It was denied. It was kind of snowballed over. And therefore you decided to really kind of implement things to kind of build your own character and be able to speak your truth. And you see that when your desires are expressed and they're not taken care of, your emotions are expressed but not taken care of, you've decided to kind of move on, or you decided to do something about it. That's why you're presenting as the King of Wands right here, all fiery and focused, right? Wow. Yeah. And people want to, they're strange things that they want to talk about is your communication. Maybe you are a great texter, or if you text with somebody, like especially intimate things, be careful, because people like to, you know, get ideas from other people. Hey, what do you think he or she meant by this? And they share your text and they kind of mull it over, and they have discussions at the workplace. And I'm seeing actually somebody going on, what do you think this means? Or that was the last response I got. What do you think that means? And, you know, trying to kind of dissect the number 1444 on camera just now. So they're wanting to talk about that. Also, if you do any traveling at all, or if you've moved anywhere or flown anywhere recently, people really like to talk about that as well. So very interesting. But let me know what you guys think. If you resonate, please do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Otherwise, I will hopefully see you soon. Until next time, namaste.